What's going on, Bulls Nation? So, the last video we talked about 5 things why we should trade for Durant. Now it's 5 things why we shouldn't trade for Kevin Durant right after this.
Get the lowdown on one of the most iconic basketball teams in the world. You're listening to Chicago Bulls Nation.
All right, first on the list, injury issues. Kevin Durant has a lot of injuries throughout his career, most notably towards the latter part of his career. I think he only played like a handful of games. There was a stat where like 90-something regular season games in with his tenure with the Nets, and of course the 1 year he just completely missed the entire year because of his Achilles. But he has some different issues now. His back, his shoulders, a lot of things now, and he's not getting any younger. So if we trade for him, are there any guarantees that he's not going to do again this year? And if he does get injured, boy, you can throw the season out of the toilet, because you are going to have a depleted lineup if that happens. And that is my second point now, is that once you do get this guy, we're going to have a depleted lineup. Yes, that the idea of we're going to trade Vooch and Kobe White and 4 draft picks and Tony Bradley sounds great, but the reality is we can't get him for that. I mean, look at Rudy Gobert. That is going to have a massive haul when it comes to Kevin Durant, and it's been known that the Brooklyn Nets wanted an all-star, a blue chipper, and a bunch of first rounders. So if the most realistic package, I would say, would be like something along the lines of maybe Vooch for salary fillers, somebody like Lonzo Ball perhaps, Patrick Williams, Ayo Dosunmu, maybe even Alex Caruso, and a few picks. At that point, is that even worth it? I would say no, absolutely not. I would not gut the roster for, at that point, what's in it for you, right? Like, you have no team. Yes, you have Zach LaVine, because I know he has the desire to play with Zach LaVine, or maybe DeMar DeRozan. Even if you include DeMar DeRozan in that trade, you are still gonna cuff up Patrick Williams, Ayo Dosunmu at the very least. If I was the Nets, I would ask for Alex Caruso as well. So, and a bunch of picks for that matter. Maybe even Dalen Terry. And I'm not overvaluing those guys. I'm just saying, what kind of roster are you gonna surround Kevin Durant as, even if you pick him up? And to the next point is that once you trade all those young assets, there's no future. There's gonna be zero future for the Chicago Bulls. And at that point, you're going literally all or nothing here. If this thing doesn't work out, you're screwed, because all your young assets, which is in Patrick Williams and Ayo Dosunmu, Dalen Terry, and most likely 4 of your picks are gonna be gone. So if things doesn't work out, you're screwed for the next 7 to 8 years. You have no assets to trade for. And to my point earlier, what if the guy gets injured? You can't trade him. So now you got nothing. How are you going to improve the rest of the roster if he gets injured, if something happens to him, right? And in the future, you got DeMar DeRozan. Let's say, assuming he stays, he's going to be 34 years old at that time. Vooch is 31, and assuming he's going to be traded, so that's a moot point. Zach LaVine is also an injury-prone player. Who knows? There's nothing to look forward to if these things does not work out, or if it just blows in your face. Nothing. Not just because of the young players that you're gonna lose, like Ayo and Pat Williams and Dalen Terry and all that stuff, but future assets that you've already given away, and it's gonna get worse. It's just gonna get worse from that point forward. And the next one would be with no future. It's his age. He's 34 years old. This is not the same situation where when the Lakers traded for Anthony Davis. Yes, he is often injured, but at least you have this at least something on the back of your mind that he's young You could have him for a long period of time, and maybe he'll get better. Maybe he'll toughen up. Maybe the injury woes are gonna stop at some point, and he's still gonna be in the prime of his career. Yes, Kevin Durant is still in the prime at 34 years old, and his game is a bit different. He doesn't really bang inside or use athleticism and all that stuff. He's just crafty. He's just a lot of things in his bag, and he's a shooter. And also, his game ages gracefully, and especially with today's game, it is nice. However, at the end of the day, he is 34. So let's say the first year is an adjustment period. I mean, if he's going to be 35, he's not going to get better. He's not like he's 27 where he's reaching the peak of his career. He's 34. He's just going to go downhill from here. And even if he sustains this level, and if you don't, your window is so short now, because even if he does sustain this level, what makes us sure that, let's say, DeMar is going to sustain his MVP level? What makes us so sure that they're going to coexist? And let's say we keep Vooch. Let's say we traded Zach on December, because I know we can't trade him now. Now you got three guys that in their 30s that it's just no future at all, because he's 34 years old. And by the end of his tenure here, he's going to be like 38, getting paid $50 million. How are you going to build a roster at 38? And presumably he's still somewhat productive. Like LeBron is still playing at a high level, but you can clearly see that he's not the same player as he was. He can't carry the team anymore. So you got to surround him with better players, as evident from this last season. And that's LeBron James. But the problem is, how are you going to surround him if he's making that much? Kind of like Kevin Durant. And when you do that, you won't have any picks. So you're going to have to scatter to bargain bin. So I don't know. It's going to be hard to build a team around him, especially at the latter part of his career. And the last part is there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that we're going to win anything. And you're going to trade all these assets, these players. You're going to trade away the core of this team, what made this team so much fun to watch. And also, the future. There's no guarantee. I mean, he couldn't do it with the Nets. What makes us so sure that he can do it with the Bulls? There's no guarantee as well, right? Is his chances better? Are things going to pan out the same way? What if he gets injured? What if all the things that we talked about earlier doesn't pan out how it's supposed to be? There's still no guarantee. Having Kevin Durant, unless maybe you're the Golden State Warriors, which you have a good support system around him, there's no guarantee that you're going to win the chip. And now you're putting all your chips in the middle, banking on maybe, hopefully, this guy will bring us to the promised land. But if he doesn't, that's what's going to suck, because there's a nice cohesiveness amongst this team right now. As evident from the Summer League, you see DeMar DeRozan. It looks like the team like each other. And wherever Kevin Durant goes, it feels like there's always drama. And you give that all away with no guarantees that we're going to win anything. Even going to reach the finals. It's not like the LeBron James of old where you put him on any team, he'll bring him to the finals. But I don't know. I just feel like at this point, it's not worth taking the risk. But let me know in the comments down below how you feel about this. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.